Well, if there's one thing the weekend taught us, ladies and gentlemen, it's that football's awesome, and none of us know anything about it. Welcome in. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Happy Monday, Upstate South Carolina. A full 5-day week this week. The Rob Brown Show is live. I am Rob Brown, and directly across from me, the alpha and the omega of the Fan Upstate, the great one, Lonzo's on the board. I take that back, Lonzo. I said we don't know anything about football. It turns out that you still know that Patrick Mahomes is very good at it, from what I got yesterday.
I don't understand why there was doubt there, but apparently there was some across the way and everywhere else. Tyreek who? That's what I've been saying all this time. It's only one game, though.
5 touchdown passes for Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes. I think it's only justified that he gets his name said as many times as Josh Allen did last Friday.
Except he didn't. I watched the broadcast. He did not.
Wait, you're telling me the play-by-play announcer didn't say that he feels like he was watching Tom Brady in his younger days out there?
He did not.
Shocking. 44-21. Chefs over the Cardinals. 30 of 39, 365 touches for Patrick.
Patrick Mahomes did look at the defense and say 4 when he scored his 4th touchdown. Really? Yes, he did. Look it up.
He gave him the horseman.
Look it up.
I love it.
I think he was looking at the camera and speaking to Tyreek Hill and a bunch of people like you who said he was done.
No! Don't put that juju on me, Ricky Bobby. I never said anything to the like. I just said Josh Allen is good. I didn't say Patrick Mahomes was bad.
By the way, will you bring our banner back?
Yeah, sure will.
Because, it looks empty behind me, and I know that you took it. So,
I did the Burns game Friday, and they're like, "Hey, there's a TV crew there. We need to hang our banner up, right? Because everything's about branding and promotion." And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." And I brought it there because I went downstairs to get a banner, and the only other banner we have is like an envelope with the logo on it. I'm like, I better take the big one. I didn't get signed off on that. That was not just me being a jerk.
What does this have to do with you bringing it back?
Nothing. I'm just making excuses. That's all. Just making excuses for a thing that I forgot to do. Falcon Jeremy. Text into the show on the Preferred Home Services text line, 71307. Start your text with FAN. Rob, your Saints got lucky. Atlanta pulled in Atlanta. Yes, they did. A 26-10 lead for the Falcons evaporated, and the Saints kick a game winner with 27 left to play. Tried to give it away in the last second. Young-Ho Kim, who has been an exceptional kicker, came out to kick a 61-yard game-winning field goal, and the Saints blocked it. 2 games ending on block kicks yesterday. When's the last NFL weekend that ended with 2 games getting blocked? Oh, and we had a tie. First tie of the season. How much NFL did you watch yesterday, Lonzo?
I watched all day.
I like it. Week 1, but the lady friend says, "Hey, can we go out and watch the Saints game?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm never going to say no to that." So we went out and watched the Saints game, and after the first round of games ended, including the Browns knocking off Bake and the Panthers 26-24 on a bogus roughing the passer call, Lonzo? Did you see it? I say completely bogus.
Yes, I saw it. Not just that, but there's also the fake spike. There were a couple things at the end. Yeah, for sure.
Not thrilled about the ending of that one. Panthers should be 1-0. They are not. Browns are. After the Steelers-Bengals game, oh, buddy, Joey B did not look good. I mean, it looked good in the second half, and he finished with 338 and 2 touchdowns. Raise your hand if you started Joey Burrow in fantasy football and took 3 points away from the first half. A first half where Jameis Winston ended with -2 passing yards in the first half. -2. He threw the ball backwards in total in the first half. The Dolphins rip up the Patriots 20-7. Joe Flacco went for $300 plus for the Jets, and his wide receivers couldn't stop dropping the football for him. Still crossed the 3-century mark. She looked at me and goes, "This was a really good day of football." She's a college football fan, right? She's a Gamecock fan. She's a college football fan. She really just kind of started getting into the NFL, really into the NFL because of me, because I'm a wonderful influence on the lives of people around me. She goes, "That was a really good day of football." I'm like, yeah, it was. We have been treated, Zoe, in both college and pro ball. I think we've been treated to an exceptional start of this football season at every level. Genuinely do. So your NFL week 1, with the exception of Russell Wilson taking on his old team, the Seahawks, while quarterbacking his new team, the Broncos, is in the books. Saints over the Falcons 27-26. Browns sneak. God, that one stings. That one stings. We're going to be dropping. Are we good to, this is off air, but I'm assuming, are we good to record a podcast after the show? Because I have things to say about Carolina. No, that's not true. I have things to say about the Carolina game.
That was good to drop one yesterday as I sat there waiting for, 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. That was on me.
Yeah, I know.
26-24, Browns over the Panthers. The Bears over the 49ers. Trey Lance looked like a rookie.
He looked like Trey Lance. He looked like, let's keep Jimmy Garoppolo, in the organization just in case. That's what he looked like.
I kept waiting for the cameraman to turn the lens over to the bench, so to just see a non-helmeted Jimmy G sitting on the bench with his legs crossed, no headset, maybe doing a little Sudoku, filling out a crossword puzzle, and just every now and then glancing up at Trey Lance's stat line.
Nah, he was busy working the crowd going, your number, your number, your number.
I wanted disinterested and salty Jimmy Garoppolo on the sideline. Like, okay, yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. All I did was bring him to the playoffs. Don't worry about me. I'm sure this Trey guy's got it for you. Steelers over the Bengals 23-20 in one of the biggest surprises of the day, I think, right?
Well, the big surprise is that the Bengals didn't fix their offensive line and that Joe Burrow is not going to make it through the season probably. He threw interceptions and there were a lot of turnovers, but some of it has to do with him looking at the sky quite a bit.
4 picks, 7 sacks for 39 yards. And granted, it's not so much the yards as the 7 sacks.
All that, and he still came back and almost beat you.
Still got him. Yeah, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Eagles over the Lions, 38-35. I thought Philly was supposed to dominate the NFC East. The Commanders needed a late, probably most ill-advised throw of the day from TL to get by the Commanders. I do have to know what the hell happened to the Tennessee Titans. No business losing to the Giants. None. The NFC East did not look good yesterday. One team got a win. Sorry, scratch that. 2 teams got a win. One of them over the Jags, and one of them a win that they should not have had on the road at Tennessee.
Did you pick the Jags to win that game?
I did.
So did I.
I know.
I won't make that mistake again.
They should have won the freaking game. They absolutely should have won the damn football game.
Should they?
Yeah. Trevor had them. I mean, they should have won the game. Now, don't get me wrong. Me picking the Jags was not a belief that now the Jags are good. It was just they're not as bad as they were last year, and it's the Commanders bum. But here's the best part of it. How about the AFC South? The AFC South has a combined 0 wins in week 1, and 2 of them played each other. 0 wins, and the Texans and the Colts played each other, and not a single win in the AFC South in week 1. The Texans and Colts are 0-1. The Jags and Titans both lost. That is bad. That is bad. That is not a good look for the division in week 1. I was like, it's week 1. You don't want to knee-jerk this thing. But how does your division have 2 teams play each other, have the other 2 teams playing bad teams, and you come out with 0 wins? Every other division in football has... Actually, no, that's not true. Well, the Seahawks are set to play. The NFC West is 0-3 to open the season, too. The Cardinals got smoked. The Rams got smoked. The Niners lost to Chicago. If the Seahawks get beat, sorry, scratch that, Zoe. When the Seahawks get beat by the Broncos tonight, the NFC West is going to go over. That was arguably a year to 2 years ago the strongest division in football. They're about to go 0-4 to start. It's not good.
I wouldn't get ahead of myself too much, because unless you are really praising Russell Wilson and thinking that he's just going to tear up his old team tonight, which you might be, the best part about it for him is that he's got a really good team around him, but he's still overrated. So we'll see.
I will not be saying, I carried a lot of notions into this week in football, and I'm talking both college and pro. I missed a lot this weekend. I'm not going to lie. I missed a lot. I thought Alabama was going to kill Texas. Nope. Blew that one, 2019 win, and needed, frankly, some help to do it at the end. Your boys looked a little better, Alonzo. Ohio State was able to put it in the end zone a couple of times this weekend.
Yeah, but look at who they were playing.
I agree. But then again, let's look at who they were playing last weekend, because I'm owning this, spent a week going, hey, guys, Notre Dame looks good.
Week 1, Ohio State played down to their opponent.
Sure did.
They didn't this week.
Sure did. Because Notre Dame, y'all okay? Y'all all right, Domers? Y'all okay over there? Notre Dame loses to Marshall 26-21 in South Bend. Lonzo, I believed in Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman's got them turning a corner.
I got to say, I am impressed that the coach is still there, because that's almost like instant firing. I don't know if it's ever been done that early in the season, in your very first season, when you lose to Marshall. Yeah, but would you have been shocked if you found out he was let go today?
Yeah.
A lot of money at Notre Dame for boosters and NIL and whatnot, and those people probably have a little bit of an influence, and they're probably not happy today, I'm guessing.
0-4 and 2 are the Irish. I believe that Marcus Freeman, Lonzo, is the first Irish coach, first Notre Dame coach in history to go 0-2. We have received a text from the leprechaun of Lyman, who has got in on the text line and says, Rob, no, the Domers are not feeling good. But in a very hilarious leprechaun Irish accent that I cannot replicate.
If he goes 0-3, he's done. There's no way they allow him to go 0-3. I have no idea who they play next, but they better win.
Cal. They got Cal up next.
Yeah, well, you would have thought, yeah, Marshall, that's a gimme. You would think Cal would be a gimme, but maybe not.
Cal beat UC Davis 34-13, and they snuck by UNLV 20-14 in week 2. If they lose to Cal, Lonzo, I don't know that Marcus Freeman gets fired. Can you be on the hot seat in your 3rd week?
You could be fired, and he's going to get the Lane Kiffin treatment.
You think so?
Yeah, if he loses. Is that an away game or a home game?
Believe that's a homer. Let me check.
He better hope.
I don't know. He just lost to Marshall at
No,
home.
you're missing the point. It's easier to get home from your own than it is, being left at the airport.
I got you. That makes sense. Notre Dame is, yes, at home against Cal at 2:30 on Saturday. Then they got UNC. By the way, thank you for the cover, Georgia State, by a half a point. And then, October 8th, they're at BYU. Provo. Don't love that for them. Not feeling great, ladies and gentlemen, are the Irish. Clemson knocks off Furman 35-12. Listen, 35-12. It is what it is. I'm going to say 2 things. I'm going to say 3 things. I'm going to say a lot of things. It's a 3-hour show. But about this game, I got 3 things. Lonzo, DJ looked good. Clemson's defense looked shaky. Furman's offense deserves a lot of credit. Those are the 3 takeaways from that game for me. DJ had the ball going where it needed to go.
Wait. So Cade came in the second half and tore it up, right?
Cade was 1 of 4 for -2 yards.
Wait. No. That can't happen. That has to be the coach's fault. Because
for the record, that's good enough for a QBR of 0.5.
So that's why I didn't see a lot of stuff on Twitter and Facebook about Cade. Okay. All right.
He needed more time to warm up. DJ, however, 21 of 27, 231, averaged 8.6 yards per completion with 2 touchdowns.
And any DJ haters out there, you can't say, well, look at who they were playing Furman, because some other teams were playing those level of teams and they didn't win. I'm just saying that.
Hey, Jimbo! You know what? I was bagging on the Irish for not feeling good. I just realized Jimbo Fisher's getting paid $200 billion a year to lose at home to Appy State. By the way,
this room cannot contain what is about to happen at 3 p.m. today.
Yup.
Mark Ryan is not prepared for what he's about to face when Diesel walks into this room.
If there was ever a day that Mark Ryan could take off and we'd all be like, that's the correct decision, just give Diesel 4 hours today. He won't take a breath. 2:59. And then it's just going to be 4 hours of full tilt.
You know how red his face gets when he's into something?
Oh,
his face is going to be, he might need to monitor his blood pressure for the entire 4 hours. He's going to be, the word is hyped, I believe.
Texas A&M. Tyler Huff, 30 of 39, 256, a touch and a pick for Furman. They had a butt 28 on the ground, 256 through the air. Ryan Miller, 13 snags, 95 yards. On the other side, Will Shipley, 10 for 68 on the ground. DJ, 5 for 38. Kobe, 6 for 25. Phil, 5 for 20. 2 rushing touchdowns for Will Shipley, 1 for Kobe Pace. Through the air, Bo Collins, 4 snags, 57 and a touch. Nagata, 3 for 44. Williams, 3 for 39. Antonio, E.J. Williams, 3 for 38. Davis Allen, 1 for 23. Brandon Spector, 4 for 17. 1 fumble on the day for both teams. 1 pick on the day for both teams. Furman played well. Clemson was not electric, Zoe, but I didn't need electric. I just needed consistent. And I'd say DJ hit that mark, right?
Absolutely. And I'm sure, well, maybe the coach, maybe Dabo said, you just leave DJ in there. We'll shut some people up. And that's what he did, at least for a week.
I mean, can't be mad at it. And then South Carolina, obviously. You know what? South Carolina, Zoe, tried to rally. They tried to rally late. They tried to get something going late. But at the end of the day, that is today, top 10 Arkansas team on the road. It just kind of is what it is. It was not a great performance. However, 376 through the air, 40 rushing yards. 40.
Well, when you don't attempt to rush, how many attempts were there? I mean,
29.
Yeah,
averaged 1.4 yards per carry.
I'm more upset with their inability to stop the rush than
295 surrendered rushing yards.
Defense gonna get tired after a while. Yeah, when you're getting run over and when you just can't tackle someone.
Dude. 295 on the ground. 158 to Raheem Sanders. 67 to KJ Jefferson. AJ Green had 43. That's, what's the word, Lonzo? Bad. That's bad. I'm not a defensive coordinator, but I'm pretty sure that if your team gives up 295 yards just on the ground, you're going to lose that football game most of the time. Most of the time.
Is that the best rushing team that South Carolina will face all year, though?
It's not the worst. I would say Georgia will be up there. I would say, yeah, maybe. Kentucky beat Florida. Now that South Carolina-Florida game's kind of more interesting, isn't it? It's in the swamp, but Kentucky just won there.
Wait. Hold on. I thought Florida was back. I heard that somewhere. I thought I heard that here on this station. I'm pretty sure I heard that Florida was back.
In fairness, because I'm down to LOL with the best of them. But in fairness, in the new AP poll, the University of Kentucky is ranked number 9. Anything there, or are we just gonna?
Well, no. I mean, I guess Kentucky's. I think other people thought Florida was back too, which elevated that win more than probably it should have. But someone's got to be number 9.
Arkansas is number 10. USC is 7. Oklahoma State is 8. Oklahoma 6. I'll give you the top 5 when we come back after college football week 2. Let's take a break. Rob Alonzo, the Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. All right, stream, be right back. Don't go nowhere. All right, Stream Skrilla. Good morning, big dog. Appreciate you coming in, man. Good weekend of football. And yes, the Atlanta Falconed again. How much you want to bet that every backup long snapper in the NFL is getting a whole lot of practice time this week? Yeah, a lot of bad snaps. How many bad snaps did the Panthers have? Like 4? It's almost like if you don't let your quarterback play in the preseason, bad things happen.
Well, on the Panthers side, some of that was Baker, but not all of it. Probably half of those was him. But when the ball is snapped so hard that it goes through your hands into the center's butt, I mean, that's not
Yeah. I said on Facebook, I don't know why anyone ever invites App State on their schedule. It's not even the second time they've upset a team like that. Yeah, I mean, we celebrate.
It's not as big of an upset, though. It's not. The Michigan thing.
No, the Michigan upset was arguably the biggest upset in college football history. But going to Kyle Field when the Aggies were. By the way, Kevin Sumlin had a better 50-game record than Jimbo Fisher does, and they ran Kevin Sumlin out of town on a rail. And Kevin Sumlin had 136 through 50, and Jimbo's 135. Brian, welcome in, buddy. Good to have you. Appreciate you guys coming by. Good morning, everybody. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob Alonso and you. I was listening to the Panther Nation podcast. Our buddy Rashad, he'll be on with us Thursday morning. Listening to the Panther Nation podcast, and they were having a debate. And I'm curious to get your thoughts on it, Zoe. And those of you out there in Radio Land listening to the show this AM. The calls at the end of the game, specifically the roughing the passer call, which I thought was a little weak, right?
Only a little? Only a little.
Little weak.
Okay, it was more than a little weak.
All right, a lot of weak. David and Rashad, who we've had both of them on the show before, and Rashad will join us Thursday at 9:35. Rashad said, that call shouldn't have. I mean, it was the impact of the game, but the Panthers should not have created a situation where it needed to come down to that, right? He's like, we had the lead, we had the ball, we just didn't finish drives, etc. Rhodey, and I fall down on the side with Rhodey, said, dude, the call blew it, right? It does not matter how bad you played in the first half. It doesn't matter how long it took you to really get going, because Baker looked better in the second half than he did in the first, no doubt about it. Again, I very much blame that on the delay in getting the quarterback battle over with and letting Baker get some time.
You know what? I don't blame it on that. I blame it on play calling. On absolute play calling. They're protecting Christian McCaffrey, so they're not giving him the ball. It's pretty sad that the only way Christian can get a really big run is when Baker fumbled the ball and he picks it up off the ground and has his best run of the night. You've got the best weapon on the team and you're not using them. The play calling was horrible. As I said on Twitter yesterday, all the Baker, all those people shut up in the second half. Although they just completely disappeared. The play calling was horrible. It was terrible. If the play calling remains like this, the Panthers are going to struggle the rest of the year. They got to where they got in the second half despite the play calling, and they need to fix that. The fact that Ekwonu was able to do what he was able to do for as long as he did, even though Baker got hit quite a bit, it could have been worse. It definitely could have.
Oh, dramatically.
You're going up against a couple an entirely good defense, but you got Myles Garrett and you got Clowney. Clowney was the problem for like the first quarter, and then Myles Garrett was the problem for a good portion of the rest of the game because they understood Baker's timing and knew to jump up and block his passes. But he shouldn't have been throwing the ball that much. He shouldn't. You got 3 running backs, one of them really, really good. When you have an aggressive defense coming at you the way they were, you take advantage of that. You hit screens, you hit slants, you find ways to take advantage of that aggressiveness, which they did in the second half. They could have done that in the first half, but the play calling was horrible. The play calling was set up in such a way so they could lose. And they had to find ways in the second half to get back in the game despite the play calling. Christian McCaffrey needs to get the ball. If he's going to get hurt again, he's going to get hurt again. I mean, that's just how that goes. How do you let that weapon sit there and not give him the ball? When you know Baker is just going to throw the ball every single time, of course the defense is coming.
Yeah, Myles Garrett was he didn't have to bring his lunch pail because lunch got served to him a couple times. And by the way,
hats off to Myles Garrett because with all that bad blood and all that kind of stuff, yeah, he sacked him a bunch, but it didn't look like bad blood. There wasn't anything cheap about it. Everything he did was I don't want to say it was nice, but it could have been a lot worse.
Oh yeah. I mean, they came to play. You know, I thought, what was it, 14 touches for McCaffrey? I thought that's right in the wheelhouse, you know? I said 14 to 16 touches max per game.
You're not going to win a game if that's all you give him.
I mean,
if you're just going to protect him, just send him home.
14 to 16 touches is fine. It's enough for him to have a big impact on the game without drastically increasing the risk.
Yeah, one of those touches, his biggest run, he wasn't supposed to touch the ball.
Oh yeah, the fumble that he just picked up.
Right.
Yeah, and that was just him making a play, right?
Which, by the way, is what he does
Yeah.
if you give him the ball.
Yeah, he can just make a play, and he just made a play. So I don't know, man. I'm fine with the way they took care of McCaffrey. The center to quarterback exchange has got to be better. It's got to be. Now, keep in mind, and this was interesting. I thought about this as the game started. Remember, about 4 weeks ago, Matt Rule said that Bradley Bozeman was going to be the starting center. But we got Pat Elflein again. And I got to go back and watch the tape again, Zoe, because watching the game, now obviously I, like most other fans, was watching 6 games at once to open the day, right? Then I went back because I've decided to pay the $10 a month to have NFL Plus to go back and watch replays. It's just easier. It's like having my own personal film room. Went back and watched it a second time yesterday afternoon. And even on the rewatch, I wasn't really able to tell, is this the fault of Baker? Is this the fault of Elflein? Or is it some combination of both? And that's a big problem. I 100% agree with Lonzo's assessment. I didn't love the play calling. I didn't think it was all, I didn't think they took advantage of mismatches where they were given. But I do think that not naming Baker your starter until after the second week of preseason, I think having him in multiple preseason games come out and play one series, like, and in a shortened off season. If Baker Mayfield was a starting quarterback, that word has 2 syllables, for the Carolina Panthers, that word has 3 syllables. Thank you, Lonzo. I am dumb. For, a season or two, then yeah, I'm probably not as worried about it. But he had a shortened offseason with the Panthers. Would he have 2 weeks before camp started? A week and a half before camp started? He got not nearly as many preseason snaps as I would have liked. There, of course, were going to be problems. And just from top to bottom, as far as I was concerned, there were issues. And by the way, Carolina's defense did not help in the first half, right? I mean, they played better later in the game, so did the offense. But I saw somebody tweet, Carolina's defense is going to have to win this thing again.
Before we got into the season, I talked about how I was concerned about their run defense. Here's the thing. They just went up against one of the best running games in all of football. One of the best 1-2 punch, if not the best 1-2 punch as far as a running game goes. And they struggled, but they still had a chance to win the game at the end of the game.
Sure did.
And when it mattered, Baker drove them down the field and got them some points.
Took one in himself.
And then the referee decided, and that pass to Robbie Anderson was beautiful. He was wide open.
And Thomas, that tight end seam was exceptional.
When you give Baker time, he's gonna hit guys, and it's just Cleveland's better than what people expect. But the Panthers should have and could have won this game if play calling would have been better and a couple referee calls, which I'm not going to change my mind about. It's human error. It stinks. It's part of the game. But I don't know which penalty hurt worse, the roughing the passer or the fake spike.
To circle back around to where this started, I heard Rashad say, and I'm going to ask him about this on Thursday. I heard Rashad say something to the tune of, we can't blame the penalty, right? Because we had the lead, and you got to be able to protect that, right? We had the lead. And I'm like, right, I get that. But if you come out and you play really crap football for 3 quarters, and then in the 4th quarter, you figure it out, you play well, and you give yourself a 3-point lead, you still deserve a chance to win with the game being officiated the way the game is supposed to be officiated. And it wasn't. It wasn't. Either one of those calls goes a different way, and the Carolina Panthers are 1-0. It's bad.
I get it's the first game for the referees. A lot of conferences with all the referees gathered, taking way too long to figure stuff out.
Which also takes you out of your rhythm and routine, right? I agree entirely. I hate talking about officiating in football. I try to avoid it as much as I can, but the last 10 minutes of that football game were just weird. Trey pops up, says Derek Brown needs to start playing like a top 10 pick. That defense yesterday had spots where they just looked atrocious. Listen, Lonzo may or may not be right. The Cleveland Browns may be a better football team than they're getting credit for. You cannot let Jacoby Brissett look like a freaking top 10 draft pick, dude. Can't do it. Can't let Jacoby Brissett look as good as Jacoby Brissett did. You can't. You can't let their defensive line go out there and own it while your defensive line is not doing that.
If the entire team that played in the second half played that way in the first half, it's a totally different game. They found themselves in the second half. Is it adjustments? Is it losing some nerves, whatever, and suddenly you realize, hey, we're playing, and they played really hard in the second half. We're going to find out what happens in the next game. If that second half team comes to play, they got a chance to be pretty good. And I thought Baker, when he had time, looked excellent.
16 to 27, 235, a touch and a pick. Sacked 4 times for 28 yards.
That pick, too, I'm curious about that. I need to read about that and find out. It looked to me like he was throwing to a point and not a receiver, and the receiver wasn't there.
I agree.
And is that confusion over the play from him or from the receiver?
I agree, and I don't know that we'll get an answer. Really, you know what won and lost this game? It's real simple. There were 2 guys. I'd say 2, maybe 3 guys for Cleveland that busted it. It was Nick Chubb going for 141. It was Kareem going for 46 on 11, but the 24-yarder in the touchdown. And the unsung hero of that game for Cleveland was Donovan Peoples-Jones, who was cooking every DB he got lined up against. 10 yards a catch for him. But bright spots. Ian Thomas on that 50-yarder showed he can read a defense, get into the seam, and Baker can hit him. And I don't mean to shock anybody, Lonzo, but Turns out Robbie Anderson knows how to run a football game. 5 snags, a $102, including the 75-yard touchdown pass. Turns out when you don't have Robbie Anderson run an out route every damn play and you let the guy go make a play, he can do it. Let's take a break. We got a lot of football to talk about. Week 1 of the NFL in the books. Week 2 of the college football season is in the books. Carolina Gamecock fans, how you feel? I want to hear from you. Clemson fans, you guys looked better than this 35-12 scoreline indicates. Furman fans, you guys got a reason to be damn proud of that football team. We'll talk about it all coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Bum, bum, ba-da-da-da.
You know, seeing how the rest of the AFC North played, Cleveland might actually have a chance to do something, even with Brissett back there. Baltimore looked good. I mean, but you already knew that they would. Everybody else, I'm not so sure about.
I mean, the Steelers.
Look at how bad, what a beating Burrow took against Pittsburgh. What's going to happen against Cleveland? He'll be lucky to survive.
His knee certainly will. I also forgot to set my fantasy lineup because I haven't played in 8 years, so I got my butt handed to me.
That's true, Joseph. We'll see if that changes as they go. But they may be having a different quarterback back there because if they keep playing that way, ain't no way Burrow makes it through the season. I mean, he's tough right now, but eventually he'll just be broken all the time.
Too early to ask if it's time for the Cowboys to blow it up. Dak's out 6-8.
I don't know what the expectations were with him there.
Well, Dallas fans expected like deep run of the playoffs, which why? Texter says, I'm not upset with Carolina losing to Arkansas. I'm pleased they scored 30 on the road in the SEC. Arkansas was physically a dominant team and will win a lot of games. Yeah, this Razorbacks team is good, dude. It's good. I'm genuinely not upset about the L. In fact, I knew it was going to be an L. In fact, I took Arkansas to cover this game. What was it, 8.5, 9.5? Whatever that line was. 376 through the air. I mean, Tim Frisbee just tweeted a minute ago, and I think he's got a great take. And it's an interesting proposition to have to fight your way through. But Tim said, identity, that is what the up-and-coming and established SEC teams have that South Carolina does not. Successful SEC teams build and recruit toward their identity. They are not in search of one. We will not be successful until we establish an SC identity, #Gamecocks. And I agree with that, Zoe. The question is, how do you go about that, right? Like, I think for the most part, most of us feel like Shane Beamer has kind of established the personality of the team. But what's the identity of the team on the field? Are we going high flyer? If we're going 376, are we going NFL balanced attack? Like, what's the identity of this team? Because I don't necessarily know that there is one. That being said, this L cannot be an L that inspires pessimism among South Carolina fans. Guys, you were hoping for 7-6. A great season is 8-4. 6-6 is reality, right? How do you find the identity? It's to go 6-6, 7-5, 8-4, and then get better. And
no, you show your true identity after you survive this week. Can you come back after this week?
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
And be able to put together a decent season.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
Charlotte the following week will help. But you're probably going to have a lot of wounded at that point.
It's going to be bad. I'm really, you know what the biggest problem here is for the Gamecocks? The biggest problem is there was a lot of hope. There was a lot of expectation coming into this year. And that was all justified.
Has that all been dashed, though? I mean, has it really? I like you pointed out, I mean, they're not picked to do a whole lot. What you want to see is you want to see improvement over last year. Don't expect them to compete for the East this year. Next year they should, if Beamer is doing what he's trying to build towards. Not saying they will, but they should. I expect more out of next year than I do this year.
I mean, Georgia is going to, I'm sorry, beat the hell out of you. All right? They're going to beat the hell out of you. There's no question mark. They're going to beat you by 40, right? The question mark is, and I agree with Zoe on that, how do you bounce back from that? Do you come out the next week? And you got Charlotte the next week. You got to come out and beat them by 30, right? The line on that game right now, Georgia, South Carolina, Zoe, what's it set at? Take a stab at it.
24.
Holy crap, you're dead on it. 24 and a half. Dead on it. Attaboy. I'm going to go Georgia to cover. Easy. Sorry, it's not a shot. I want you guys to be good. The question is, what's your identity next week after getting beat by 40? Back after this for hour 2 of the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Joe said, is there a free agent quarterback Dallas could bring in, or are they stuck with Rush until November? Is there? Cam Newton's right there. No, you can leave that there.
No, I'm not. That's not how it works.
No, I can't talk about non-scripted stuff because I killed Twitter.
Yes, you do.
I don't know. San Francisco still willing to part with Jimmy G? Is Dallas willing to take on Jimmy G's contract?
San Francisco is not going to get rid of Jimmy G. Not after
Trey Lance. Fair point. Fair play. Gamecocks got behind early, tried to stay within reach. Hopefully they can still beat Florida so the guy that spells his name with a C can eat crow again.
He'll be eating some of that today.
Man, Florida hook, line, and sinkered me last week. I was telling people last Monday, I'm like, yo, Anthony Richardson's gonna be at the Heisman celebration. Nope. Not no more. This USFC team beat Florida for sure, but I wouldn't say for sure. South Carolina at Florida right now. That's a for sure. That's a pick 'em game to me, honestly. Pick 'em game. Can they beat Kentucky? No, they can't. Not right now, which sucks because Stoops talked crap. Although Mark Stoops' name has been mentioned as the newest head coach for the Nebraska Cornhuskers who fired Scott Frost. We got to talk about that.
What in the world is that? Oh, that's what that is. Oops.
Yeah, Nebraska's a boat show right now. That's a fact. That's a fact. Scott Frost.
He'll get hired somewhere.
What's that?
He'll get hired somewhere back on the level where he was.
Mm-hmm. Back to Conference USA. I could say that, Skrilla, but I'm not going to because I don't do puns. Nebraska is back in an agency's office looking for a new head coach. Again, Scott Frost canned goodbye. That little experiment didn't go well. You know, here's the thing, South Carolina. If you're feeling bad after the L, it happens. It happens. You wanted to go on the road and get that one. But if you felt bad after taking the L there, at least you're not Nebraska. Scott Frost, 1-2, 45-42 loss to Georgia Southern. Not State. Not State. Georgia State's the team that gave South Carolina a little trouble in week 1. Had a big one in week 2 against North Carolina. This would be Georgia Southern, the Eagles. And it's not bad. Trev Alberts, Vice Chancellor for Athletics, said, quote, "Earlier today, I met with Coach Frost and informed him we were making a change in the leadership of our football program effective immediately. Scott has poured his heart and soul into the Nebraska football program, both as a quarterback and head coach, and I appreciate his work and dedication." The Nebraska man gets a $15 million buyout. The buyout amount would have dropped to $7.5 million on October 1st, and they're like, should we wait 18 more days and pay half of the buyout? No. We need that guy now gone. We need him out, like, immediately. Nebraska is the second worst team. Nebraska is the second worst team behind only Rutgers in the Big Ten. If I went back in time and talked to, like, 1997 Lonzo and told 1997 Lonzo, who I'm assuming would have been listening to a Def Leppard track at the time, that within 30 years, Nebraska would be the second worst team in the Big Ten, and that Illinois would be better than Nebraska, what would 1997 Lonzo have said to me? 2022 Lonzo?
Wait, Nebraska's in the Big Ten?
That's all right. Yeah, I didn't consider that. I'm like, don't forget, Maryland wasn't in the Big Ten.
All right, I had to look it up because I had to see what songs were out in 1997.
Did you go top of the charts or top of the rock charts?
I just said music hits. We got Semi-Charmed Life by Third Eye Blind. Get Out by Changing Faces. I don't know that.
What's the name of that?
No, actually, I think I do know that.
What's the name of that Meredith Brooks song from 97?
Yeah, that's a female dog. And yes. Let's see. Barbie Girl was out.
You have skipped the number 1 song of 1997.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
That is number 2. The number 1 song released in 1997, Bop. Do-cha bop now, do-wop. Do-da-wop now, bop. Do-cha bop now, do-hoo-hoo.
Yeah, I probably would have been jamming to some Hanson for sure. Could have been one of my brothers.
Sugar Race Fly would have been bumping in Zoe's T-Bird at the time. I just see you in a T-Bird in 97.
No, I was not. Ooh, what was I? I think I was in a Bonneville.
A Bonneville?
Yeah.
In 97.
Yeah, which I could drive standing up in the thing. I could fit like 25 people in it. It was a hoopty. You know about the hoopties, right?
The Pontiac Bonneville.
It was a hoopty for sure.
Was this like an 87 Bonneville driving a 97, or did you use your NIL money to acquire a 97 Bonneville?
Yeah, see, you seem to recall that I graduated in 86, not 96. So I was out there making no money at that time. So, yes, it was an older Bonneville.
What year Bonneville? Do you remember?
I don't. I do not remember.
Let's look up let's look at an 87 Bonneville.
It was a relative sold it to me fairly cheap.
Okay. I like it.
It was four-door, by the way. It was beige. And got quite a few people in it. And you could take the moonroof out, and I could sit on top of the seat and drive around the Kroger's parking lot at the time.
Barbie Girl was in 97. Let's see, what else was 97? How Do I Live Without You by Leanne Rimes. A cover, but a good one. 97. Hey, Smash Mouth's Might As Well Be Walking on the Sun dropped in 97. Another killer tune. So 97 was a good year.
Quit Playing Games with My Heart by Backstreet Boys.
With my heart. Another banger.
97
was a good year.
It was a pretty good year, yeah.
Everybody by the Backstreet Boys dropped in 97.
I got to say, I wasn't listening to any of that. So I was probably listening to rock at the time.
All right, let's go top rock songs of 97. Big year for Lonzo. Tub Thumping was out.
That's not a rock song.
Bittersweet Symphony dropped in 97.
Ooh, there you go.
This Life. Everlong from the Foo Fighters dropped in 97. Great tune. How's it gonna be? All right, I got to stop looking at 1997 songs. We got a show to do. Nebraska hasn't been good since 1997.
If I recall, 1997, I was actually in recording school and was well on my way to being here soon. I've been here for 25 years.
97, I was in middle school.
Yeah, so we both were in school at the same time.
97, let me rephrase that. 97, I had either just started or was in my second year of middle school. I think I just went to middle school.
I was in recording school thanks to every place that I ever worked going out of business. And there was a thing in Ohio where if that sort of thing happened, they would pay for you to go to school. And I went to school and then couldn't find a job in it till I came here.
Welcome to radio, baby. Okay.
We studied radio for like a half hour. And you can tell some days.
I am very much enjoying reading the NFL meltdowns taking place around the league right now. A passer, after delaying his passing action for strategic purposes, is prohibited from throwing the ball to the ground in front of him, even though he is under no pressure from defensive rushers, for intentional grounding, loss of down, and 10 yards from the previous spot. The official, if I recall correctly, said there was no foul on the play. The player faked the spike and then threw it.
Which is fine, except he threw it in the ground, around linemen.
Which is,
yeah.
And I'm going to quote the rule book here. Prohibited, end quote. Now, it's been a long time since I was in middle school and learned the word prohibited, but if I recall correctly, that means against the rules. Correct? Is it just me? No? Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any interpretation as far as that goes with that particular rule, especially since there are no eligible receivers right there where he threw the ball.
I don't know, man.
And I could be wrong, but I think he's still in the pocket. I mean, the pockets shift and everything, but taking a step back, you're still probably in the pocket.
Yeah. I got nothing, dude. I got nothing. It was just a really poorly officiated end of the football game. And don't get me wrong. A lot of things Carolina could have done better. Defensive line could have been better. Offense in the first quarter and a half could have been dramatically better. Play calling could have been better. A lot could have been done better. But even with all those things capable of being done better, the Panthers still put themselves in a position to win the football game.
Look at the look on the referee's face a couple times when he comes out. The guy who's talking, he looks like he has no idea what's going on. I mean, that's that look like, man, all I know is people aren't going to like me right now.
Yep. That's a fact.
We've been back there, all 4 or 5 of us been talking about it, and none of us know why that flag was. I don't know what. We'll just go out and say something.
I don't know, man. It was just bad. It was just a bad series of calls, a bad series of plays. There was a lot that was wrong on both sides of the football, but you hate it coming down to bad officiating, but it did, and you got screwed. All right, it happens. The problem is for a team that has playoff aspirations, but they are wild card aspirations. The margin for error is zero for Carolina.
But this is not college football. It's not. You can lose a couple games. They can win 9 games and possibly make the playoffs. And if you only win 9, you're going to lose a few. More than a few.
I agree, but you got it's win 9. But let's be real. You and I did our season preview in the last episode of Views from Mint Street.
Yeah, this should have been a win.
This had to be a win, man. If you want to get to 9, this had to be a win.
I don't know if this is much.
It's Cleveland.
I was more favorable than you were. So as far as victories for the Panthers, so it's just the first game. It's just game 1.
I mean, listen, some of those games that I thought were L's look a little more realistic now. Arizona looks a little more realistic of a win. Saints did not look good. The Falcons did not look good. The 49ers lost to Chicago. The Rams look like crap in their debut. The Bengals offensive line look like hot garbage. There are some games that I definitely chalked up as L's that after week 1 look better. But it is week 1.
I just want to say, even though it was week 1, Kyler Murray's still short. Oh, he was doing that last night.
Me on that.
He was doing it yesterday afternoon a bunch.
I hate that you have got that as what I
say. Because every time they show him, he's doing it in his helmet. Trust me. One thing we haven't mentioned today, and even though they won the game last night, what a pleasure it was to see Tom Brady looking up at the sky a bunch.
He took a few pops.
Yes, he did. And he wasn't even playing that good of a defense. What's going to happen when he plays a really good defense? Giselle was right. Giselle was right.
Oh.
Giselle was right.
Oh.
If I walk away now, will it hurt my legacy? I'm Tom Brady.
In fairness, he is 1-0. He is 1-0.
Oh, he is, for sure. I don't even care about this. Unless they're playing the Panthers, I could care less if they win or not. But I do like seeing him sacked. I enjoy his anger, which he gets away with and no one else does.
Saints Falcons. I'm going to talk about the game at some point, but can I tell you my favorite part of the weekend? Was sitting there watching the game with a lady friend and a couple of Falcons fans. And they went to halftime, and they come back out of halftime, and they go to the young lady who was doing sideline reporting. And she had spoken to the head coaches of both teams going into the locker room, as sideline reporters do, right? And she said, yeah, guys, I had a chance to talk to Dennis Allen about what he'd like to see improve. And Dennis Allen said that the key to the second half of this game is the Saints have to do everything better. And as she said that, they put up, like, on the side, like they had the scoreboard graphic at the bottom. And you know how the Fox graphic is centered, right? Like the score bug is centered at the bottom. And they do the little pop-out things that slide out to the side. It slid out. It slid out. And it said, quotation marks, do everything better, dash, Dennis Allen. And I was like, that's pretty appropriate for my life. I'm going to screen grab that, and it's just going to be what I attach to my email signature from now on. Do everything better. Hey, coach, really competitive first half there, and Atlanta's got to lead, but it looks like you're still in this ball game. What would you say is going to be the message to the team at halftime? Well, we just need to do everything better. So anyway, if you need to motivate your direct reports at work today, you need to motivate your kids because they don't want to do their homework. Want to motivate your husband to remember to take the garbage out on Friday morning. Just take a quote from Dennis Allen and tell them, do everything better. What's the reaction to your team if you're sitting in the locker room, your head coach comes in and goes, hey guys, listen, good competitive first half. I feel like we're in this game. And here's the adjustments for the second half. Do everything better. Like, we suck.
It's very accurate, though. I mean, if you want to improve, you have to do everything better.
It is. By the way, they did come out and do everything better, and the Saints win 27-26 over the Falcons, who held a 26-10 lead at one point. Name me a more iconic duo than the Falcons and choking at home.
Do you owe Marcus Mariota an apology, though?
He looked good.
Yeah, do you owe him an apology? I mean, he could be listening.
He might be.
He might be, driving through the Carolinas for some reason.
Marcus, if you're listening, you played well, buddy. The Saints defense, on the other hand, also left a little room to be desired. Not a great immediate showing from them. Let's see, what were Mariota's final numbers? Let me pull those up. I'm curious. He had a couple of big runs, too. 20 of 33, 215, no touches, no interceptions, and 12 carries for 72 yards and a rushing touchdown. It's not an awful day, to be honest. You know what's interesting?
So that was like 300 yards of offense?
All by him, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right at it. If I told you, Zoe, pre-game, that Jameis was going to go 23 of 34 for 269 and a pair of touchdowns, what would you have thought about that performance?
That they pretty much dominated.
Yeah. -2 passing yards in the first half, which means that he threw for 271 and 2 touches in a half.
Not trying to, I mean, he is coming off of injury and a lot
Sure.
of things like that, and it takes
Didn't get a lot of preseason snaps,
takes a little bit to get your legs under you.
especially when one of those legs is reconstructed during the offseason. You're not wrong. Green Bay got killed. Granted, they were missing, 3 starting offensive linemen and their number 1 wide receiver.
Have you seen the one pass? The guy streaking down and just, yeah. I mean, all the people taking pleasure, see, this is what you get, Aaron Rodgers. No, this is not his fault. This is the organization's fault. Anybody else would have probably walked away from that organization knowing that they're not giving them anything. And, dude, catch the ball. You're all alone. That's embarrassing.
Aaron Rodgers' face after that was hilarious. And I imagine that Aaron went back into the locker room at halftime, took off his shoulder pads to reveal the T-shirt underneath that said, I'd rather be doing mushrooms.
I mean, if you're like, do you come and apologize to him or do you just keep your distance?
I don't know.
And hope that he throws the ball to you again.
I'm a big apology guy, right? Like, if you screw up, apologize. If you screw up, apologize. I've already apologized to Alonzo once this morning for screwing up. I'll probably do it again. I'm a big believer of if you screw up, apologize. The apology in that case should have been, Zoe, for him to keep sprinting into the locker room to hang his helmet and cleats up and retire.
Or do that,
was bad.
Or do that thing that happens sometimes and just trip up and fall down and pretend to be hurt.
Yeah.
So you have an excuse for not catching it because that happens quite a bit.
Oh, my pride. I mean, knee. My knee. Yeah, that was. Oof.
We'll see. I dropped the ball. Can I make it my leg buckle? Can I do that?
Ryan Clark tweeted out, man, Aaron ain't fitting to mess with these dudes no more. He gonna hit all the shrooms tonight. I don't take joy in Aaron Rodgers suffering.
Yeah, there's somebody else in the station does. Though,
Oh, I know.
Because it was all over his Twitter. Like I said, it'd be hard for him to fit in this room later.
Diesel is going to be on one today. Diesel's tweets had a lot of caps lock on Saturday. Can't wait to hear that. I don't take joy in Aaron Rodgers suffering. I do take a little bit of joy in the Green Bay Packers suffering for 2 reasons. Number one, Lil Wayne, and number two, that organization continuing to have an NFL MVP that they do not build around. And it makes me laugh a little bit. You have wasted Aaron Rodgers' career. Aaron Rodgers could theoretically have had a Brady-esque career if the Packers did, I don't know, anything. And they very clearly did not. And yeah, it made me laugh a little bit. All right, 844-326-3663. 844-FAN phone, 844-FAN-FONE, 844-326-3663. Text us on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. You can also tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word.
By the way, really quick, James saying that Aaron blaming everyone but himself. It is their fault. It's not his fault.
I mean, Aaron was dropping dimes, and those dudes were dropping those dimes.
Yeah, it's not his fault.
Let's see. Texture says, can't build a team when Aaron Rodgers has 80% of the cap tied up. No sympathy for Green Bay.
Yeah, if it was your quarterback, you'd be, all right, we got him.
You mean the back-to-back NFC MVP?
Yeah, that dude doesn't deserve money. He needs to be more caring about the people around him, those people who just won't catch the ball.
Also, for the record, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that if my boss said, hey, we've got $100 budget for this project, and then went out and spent 75 of those dollars on things that don't help me finish the project, then yeah, I want every damn one of those $25 that's left. Aaron Rodgers has got a big salary cap number because he's like, well, y'all haven't given it to a wide receiver. You might as well give it to me because I got to do this without a wide receiver.
Yeah, all those years of them not helping him, you might as well get paid because they're still not going to help you.
If you're going to put me in a crap work environment, I'm going to make as much money off you as I can, homie. Let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute. Let's flip over to college football. Take a look at the new top 25 poll from the Associated Press. I'll give you the top 10. We'll see who's too high, who's too low. That's coming up next on the Rob Brown Show. And the Fan Upstate.
James, does Odell really rescue anybody? He goes in, has a few games, and then ends up being trouble a lot of places, or he gets hurt. And plus, you really think that they're going to bring him in? They won't. That might actually be help. And this plays right into people who hate Aaron Rodgers' hands because he will struggle a couple games. Then suddenly they'll start catching the ball. It'll be miraculous, and he'll win his third MVP in a row. They lost to a really good team, Chris. But you know what they did? They stuck around and scored some points. They could have Muschamp team would have folded, and it would have been twice that score.
No, we expected 500. They're 500. They're right on schedule.
Prisma in the next break.
Chris said, so what's up with the Gamecocks? Facebook stream's up, facebook.com/thefanupstate. You can watch the stream there. You can watch it by searching and subscribing to The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. You can watch it by going to any of the 3 Twitter pages, at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word, or at The Fan Upstate. You can watch the stream in all those places. Go behind the scenes. Chris said, what's up with the Gamecocks? They're right on schedule, right? Coming into the year, we said 500. My most optimistic record was 8-4. If they play really well record was 7-5. But bowl eligibility was always the target. And they are right on schedule as far as I'm concerned. They put up 30 against a decent, not decent, that's a top 10 Arkansas team. Right? You're going to get blown out by Georgia. You need to be prepared for that. Then you got Charlotte and SC State. You should be above 500 there. You're going to lose at Kentucky. You're back to 500. Lonzo, Texas A&M's beatable. Thank you, Appalachian State.
Can you bounce back from that?
Ugh.
We'll see, I guess. Yes, Texas A&M is beatable.
Hell yeah, they're beatable.
And Kentucky, they just beat Florida. I mean, that's all. So, I mean, are they as good as advertised? We'll see. There's going to be we got some bulletin board material for that game. That means emotions involved. That means it could go either way for me. That could change by the time we get to that week.
By the way, it came across my timeline yesterday that Kevin Sumlin, through 50 games at Texas A&M, had a better record than Jimbo Fisher has through 50 games at Texas A&M. 50. I'm not talking 15. I'm not talking 25. Through 50 games, Kevin Sumlin has a better record at Texas A&M than Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher is getting paid how much by that university? $1 billion, I believe.
I know you keep saying that. I keep thinking it's a joke, but who knows? Maybe it might add up to $1 billion before it's over with.
Let's see. Let me pull up old Jimbo's salary. No, that's old. It says 7.5, but I think he's got I think it's more than that now, right? Maybe not. Either way, he got a forever deal. My favorite part is that A&M, when he got hired, aside from fans starting a petition demanding that Jimbo Fisher be publicly introduced to Reveille, the dog, the lassie on the sideline for A&M, because they believed that the dog's reaction to Jimbo would tell them whether he was the right coach or not. Now I believe that Reveille would have eaten Jimbo Fisher had they met.
If you're a member of that hyped up recruiting class that's supposedly one of the best paid, thanks to NIL, do you go, the money ain't worth this, I'm going to go somewhere else?
I'm going to go ahead and call it. Jimbo Fisher is a fraud. Jimbo's a fraud at this point. I'm convinced. He's not as good as Kevin Sumlin was at the same school. And by the way, a school that, in my opinion, was actively sabotaging Kevin Sumlin when he was the head coach. He's not as good as Kevin Sumlin and has been given full control of that program. And before you hit me with, yeah, Rob, but he won a natty for FSU. Yes, he did. With Jameis Winston. That look at a guy like Herb, and despite my disdain for Herb as a human being, I cannot discredit his success as a football coach, right? And you can look and go, oh, Herb's not Herb without Tim Tebow. Yeah, he is. He was Herb other places.
Yeah, won championship in Ohio State also.
Yeah. He was Herb without Tim Tebow. If Jimbo did not have Jameis Winston, who bailed Florida State out in that 2013 title run, does Herb have a natty? Does Jimbo have a natty? Hell no, he doesn't. Jimbo Fisher's a fraud. LOL at Texas A&M. The cult for what they've done. Unbelievable.
So they really wanted a dog to see if that's weird.
Yeah, the Aggie fans wanted Revelry to meet Jimbo because they firmly and actually believed that Revelry would give them a real indication about whether Jimbo was a good coach or not.
That all sounds like witchcraft.
Texas A&M's weird,
That's
bro.
Witchcraft.
Weird. It's a cult. I have been to an Aggie game. It was not at College Station, but they travel well. They're a cult. They're weird. AP Top 25 poll is out. Oregon is 25. A&M drops to 24 after their loss to Appy State. I'm shocked they're ranked. Pitt is 1-1 at number 23. Penn State undefeated at 2-0 is at 22. Texas, after their 1-point loss to Bama, which you better believe we're going to talk about in a moment. Texas is 21. Ole Miss and Wake Forest are both 2-0. They are 20-19. Florida, coming off through L to Kentucky, drops from 11 to 18. Baylor is one spot ahead of them at 17 at 1-1. NC State is 2-0. They are 16th. Tennessee is 2-0. Road win at Pitt bumps them up to 15. Utah is 1-1. Miami, BYU, and Michigan State are all 2-0, 13, 12, and 11. And Michigan State at 11. Arkansas is inside the top 10 at 2-0. Kentucky is inside the top 10 at 2-0. Oklahoma State, actually everybody else inside the top 10 is 2-0. Oklahoma State 8, USC jumps to 7. Oklahoma is number 6. Clemson hangs inside the top 5, not in a playoff spot now, but they are at 5. Michigan is now number 4. They are one spot behind the Buckeyes of Ohio State, who received 1 first-place vote. Alabama, after a close one on the road at Tejas, is number 2. They got 9 first-place votes. And now, your overall number 1 and receiving 53 AP first-place votes are the Georgia Bulldogs.
Did Georgia even play Saturday? There was so much going on, you just didn't even hear.
Yeah, they won 30
Who'd they play? Was it like Samford or something?
I think it was Samford,
yeah.
actually. It was 33-0 over Samford.
So you move up to 1 by beating Samford, and probably only Bulldogs knew they played this weekend because of how football was this weekend and the fact that Alabama nearly lost.
Saturday was so good.
It was
really
it wasn't bad.
Speaking of, Alabama got bailed out. Texas had him. Alabama got bailed out. They should have lost that game, if we're being real.
What would it have been if Quinn hadn't got hurt?
I got to tell you, at flashbacks, remember the Alabama-Texas National Championship game? And Colt McCoy was the quarterback for Texas, and Colt got knocked out in the first quarter. And do you remember the backup quarterback? I would give you $1. 5 points to any texter who can remember the name of the backup quarterback who came in and replaced Colt McCoy in that game. 5 Rob Brown show points to you. That's 71-307.
Vince Young.
No, it was not. Going once, going twice, none. No text. Garrett Gilbert was the backup quarterback in that game, who, by the way, nearly won the game.
Wasn't he in the NFL for a while?
Yeah.
He was like one of those backup guys.
Yeah, he was like a career backup for a minute.
Which ain't bad. You don't have to do a whole lot. You get paid a bunch.
Is there a better job in radio or in sports than backup NFL quarterback? You get hit maybe twice a year, right? You don't really do it. Not even victory. Like it used to be that your job was to come in and take the knee, right? Take the knee. The victory formation. They don't even do that.
All right. I don't remember his name, and I'm okay with that. The Clemson guy that was there forever. They called him something Jesus, touchdown Jesus. It wasn't touchdown Jesus. It was something Jesus. Why did I forget his name? But dude had a good look about him. And
Charlie Whitehurst?
That's it. I was going to say dated like Joel and some people like that.
Charlie Whitehurst had himself a career. Whitehurst was 4-0 against South Carolina for the record. Charlie Whitehurst.
Then he just sat on the sideline and dated celebrities.
Yeah. The lady friend is, she's like, I hate Charlie Whitehurst. Hates him. I'm like, why? In fact, he was in Destin. They called him, that's it. Texter says Clipboard Jesus.
I knew it was something like that.
Clipboard Jesus. Charlie Whitehurst was in Destin on Crab Island, where I'm from, where I grew up, like last summer, I think. And he put up a video. Same weekend we were in Destin, but we did not go to Crab Island that day. And she's like, I hate him. I'm like, why do you hate Charlie Whitehurst? That's a random person to hate. She's like, because he was so cute and also beat us every year, and it blanked me off. I'm like, that's weird, but I get it. Anyway, so Garrett Gilbert came in to replace Colt McCoy, nearly beat Alabama, and the rallying cry of Texas fans was what? If Colt McCoy doesn't get hurt, we win that game. And they're probably right. If Quinn doesn't get knocked out of this game in the first quarter, Texas just beat Alabama. And the whole thing gets flipped on its head. 100%. I love Bama fans get upset when you say that. They're like, yeah, well, he did and we still won. It's like, yeah, all right, cool, man. Like, nobody's trying to say it counts as a loss.
We could have said that Bama lost to another mullet, and it would have been awesome.
It would have been the best mullet in college football. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. There's your AP Top 25. Anybody too high, anybody too low? Take your thoughts. Clipboard Jesus. You'll love to see it. 1 segment left and 1 hour left. The Rob Brown Show's on the radio. This is the Fan Upstate.
Prisma.
Be right back, stream. All right, dudes and dudettes, we are back. Yeah, I would say Patrick Mahomes looked okay. I would say he looked okay. They really are. A&M fans are super nice. I have nothing negative to say about Texas A&M fans other than they're in a cult and they don't know it. That's it. That's it.
Rob Brown Show, what do you want to talk about? Okay, what's your name? You said Teddy? All right, hang on. No, you ain't. But we'll go with that. Tip out there to anyone who calls in and uses a different name. Remember the name that you give, so when the host goes to you, you know it's time to talk, because it's happened a bunch of times where people give a fake name. I know it's a fake name because I recognize a lot of voices. And then the host, no matter what station, will go to them and they won't talk because they forget that that's the name they gave. Yes.
And now they're not on the line anymore. Are they?
Do what?
They're not on the line anymore? Or is my phone software jacked up? Are they still there? They're not, right?
Who?
The caller.
No, they're good.
Okay. Ding. Listen, it's a short bumper, but an effective one, you know?
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Do everything better. That's my new catchphrase. I love it. Don't worry. I've dropped it on me 3 times so far this morning.
If I were on another show, I would have to do something right now, but I'm not. So there's
you
that.
can if you want to.
No, I don't have that readily available.
Oh, fair enough. Welcome back.
Nor shall I ever.
The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Wrapping up hour number 2 of the show here. Jump on board. Love to hear from you. Text line's open 71307. Pastor Jock said on Twitter, any other top 5 team throws the game at Texas and they drop a minimum of 4 spots in the poll, get Alabama 9 first place votes. Yeah, I get it, but they did win the game, right? And while I absolutely think the officials bailed them out at the end, because I think Texas had that thing all but won, while I do think that Texas won the game, Alabama won the game, right? Are you going to penalize them? Let me phrase that. They did get penalized. They dropped from 1 to 2. They did get penalized. Remember, last week, they had 55 first place votes? They have 9 this week. And you are going to see a lot of people. First off, I'll say this. I would not want to be an Alabama player that has to go through Nick Saban's practices this week, right? Did you see at the end of the game when they got the last tackle to wrap it up and 2 of the Bama DBs started flashing the horns down signal? I don't know if you saw that, Alonzo, because I believe television is obligated to blur that. It's an obscene gesture.
I think it's like hate speech or something.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, I think it's a felon now to go horns down. And Nick Saban running on the field, it was whatever network was carrying that game had him mic'd up, and he said, "Cut that boat out." He didn't say boat, but he said, "Don't do that. Cut that boat out." And people were like jumping all over that, right? The audacity, the embarrassment. It didn't bother me. I know a lot of people are like, hey, you won by 1 point. against a bottom of the top 25 team, like maybe don't show out. And I get that. But on the flip side of that, I didn't hear any of those people getting on the Longhorns for their student section chanting, bleep Nick Saban, before the game started. And they did, very loudly. Loud enough that pretty much every media member covering the game reported on Twitter that the student section was yelling F Nick Saban loudly and repeatedly. I had to tell you, if I'm a Bama player and I hear the home team chanting bleep Nick Saban, I'm going to throw a horns down at him when we win that thing too, right? But that's not Nick Saban's style. He was not okay with that. And I'm sure it was not a pleasant bus ride home for the Bammers with Nick, who was mad not just about the Bear win over Steve Sarkisian, which, by the way, Bama was a 20-point favorite in that game.
Well, you could say that most teams would have lost that game, but Nick Saban and Alabama found a way to pull it out at the end.
Again, a little help, but you're not wrong. Like, you're right. They just needed a little help to do it. I think most teams do lose that game in that situation. Bama didn't. That's why they're still number 2. But, man, Nick, I would not want to be playing Alabama this week upcoming. I'll just put it that way. I wouldn't want to be a Bama player in practice this week, and I wouldn't want to be playing them on Saturday. Who does Alabama have on Saturday? I don't even know. Watch it be some poor, like, Eastern Illinois. Oh, it's Louisiana Monroe. Oh, no, Warhawks. Oh, no. This is, good luck surviving. All right, when we come back, I want y'all to take a look at my fantasy football team because it's been 8 long years since I played fantasy football, and I made a grave mistake, and it cost me. We'll talk about that. Take a look at fantasy weeks, fantasy week number 2 coming up, and more. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Was that a transition?
Almost got twice. Yes.
It was very smooth.
Had to make up for not having a bed in there earlier. And for someone still having something in a bed place when I told them to take it out, I should delete it, but I'm not going to because I'm not going to be mean. Also, someone was asking about the stream for the Dungeons and Dragons. It was up there. I don't know where Rob actually put me.
Here's the problem. Entire second half had no audio. None. Not like hard audio to hear. None. And I don't know why. It just cut off.
Maybe whatever you did to Matthew's computer, because that would have been right around the time.
It was around the time, but I think that was coincidental. One thing, Chris and I talked about it earlier, and I'm going to talk to you about it as well, is I need to get we need to have a better mic setup because the stream. First off, the audio sounded like crap. Because we didn't have enough mics, so I had to jack the audio way up for the mics to all pick up, and it just garbled it. And then for whatever reason, my mixer was just like, nah, I'm done. I'm taking the night off.
I'm thinking it was Tim's fault somehow. That's what I'm going to go with. Or Matthew's voice just broke everything. The depth that comes out of that skinny person. Yeah, it got past my bedtime too, Trey. And for those of you who keep asking about the Boo Box, I'm sure he'll get to it eventually.
I was going to save it for tomorrow.
Well, you can go ahead and say who lost. I mean, you know.
Nah, I started this off on a crappy note today, so I didn't want to bring the mood down further.
According to TMZ, a bunch of Dallas Cowboy fans repeatedly punched a man in a melee during the Buccaneers game.
Dallas fans are just the worst.
Yes, it does, James. It's his fault because he didn't bring it back.
He's not lying. It is my fault.
QC in the first break. Yeah, but the problem with that, Trey, is Matthew's character is a vegan orc. He's hungry because there were no vegetables on the ship.
Also, I need you to know, the line, "Is this mutiny?" has been living rent-free in my head since Saturday night. That was genuinely hilarious. The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show starts right now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is great to be with you one more time again. It's Monday. And we have been, you know what I love about Monday? And I know that some of you feel like Mondays are disjointed during football season. Here's reality. I'm just reacting to what I reacted to over the weekend, and Saturday was wild in college football. Yesterday, especially in the early slot, of the National Football League was insane. It was nuts. So yeah, we're just kind of jumping around, getting into a little bit of anything and everything. Top 25 pulls out. Georgia takes the spot on top away from Alabama, as well as the majority of first place votes. Clemson stays at number 5, Michigan to 4, Ohio State 3 and a first place vote, Bama 2 and 9 first place votes. Clemson v. Furman. Let's get into that one for just a minute. Couple of takeaways from that game. Number 1, I thought DJ looked good. Right? I think he looked... Oh, he's just playing Furman, Rob. I know that. Just like we talked about with Baker in the one half of one preseason game that he played. At this point, I am looking for consistency and execution and nothing else. Consistency and execution. And I thought you got that out of DJ against Furman. And that's really all I wanted. DJ went 21 of 27, 231, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Cade went 1 of 4 for -2 yards. Are we good to quash the start Cade wagon now? By the way, Zoe, if Cade Klubnik does break out and become a stud, how great of a name for him is Starcade?
Most people here would actually get that.
Yeah.
There's a couple that I can think of who wouldn't.
Only real men get that.
But they wouldn't make fun of it.
Starcade.
Can make fun of your team, I guess.
Consistency, right? That's what I wanted. By the way, I do have to give ups to Furman. Furman gutted out, man. I was listening to Dan Scott on the call Saturday when I was driving around getting set up for the Saturday evening show that I was honored to be a part of. And even listening to that, I think you could even hear a little bit of cheer in the voice of one Dan Scott, because Furman did not come to get rolled up on. Y'all, Lonzo, Tyler Huff went 30 of 39 for 256. That's a good day.
Would that have happened if Brent Venables was there?
Probably not. Probably not. We'll say this. I got told by a lot of Clemson Tiger fans that the defense was going to be the reason this team was back in the playoff this year.
You guys need to be thanking DJ. That's what you need to do.
You're not wrong. I mean, look, they held Furman to 12, sure. But 256 through the air? For the record, Tyler Huff had better numbers than DJ, and DJ did not have a bad day.
Listen, there is no such thing as a moral victory, but if you are trying to gauge your team against what you consider to be superior talent, when you're Furman and you look how you played that game and how well you played, then you look at your own conference and go, yeah, we got this.
I had to tell you, man, the defense for Clemson is going to have to be better and, do it now. They're going to have to get better, and they're going to have to get better now. They got Wake coming up. They got Wake Forest coming up, a Wake Forest team that just smoked Vandy 45-25. And again, don't get caught up in the transitive property of football, but a Vandy offense that crossed the 60-point mark in week 1 got held to 25 at home by Wake. I'm not saying Wake's going to win this game. I am saying, Lonzo, that Sam Hartman, in his first game back, we found out that the medical situation that prompted him to miss time was a blood clot, which can be deadly serious. Had the surgery, blood clot removed. Sam Hartman in his first game back, 18 of 27, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. Now, with all due respect to Furman, if Ty can come in there and carve them for 267, What is Sam Hartman about to do? Right? And again, it wasn't a particularly close game. But you're at Wake. Oh, by the way, you're at a Wake Forest team that is a top 20 football team at home that has belief in themselves for the first time. Furman in your house had Tyler Huff go 30 of 39 for 256 and a touch. Sam Hartman is widely regarded as the top 3, top 2 quarterback in the ACC. So don't write off Clemson v. Wake as an easy dub for the Tigers. It might not be. It might not be. This game might be an absolute shot in the dark. Wake might have something for you unless that defense gets better. And, last year when the defense was struggling a little bit, you had the excuse of, or the reason of, depending on where you're coming from, a lot of injuries, right? Had a lot of hurt dudes.
No, they blame DJ. And that's what they'll do again this year. If they should struggle, it's DJ's fault. If Cade was in there, that defense would play better.
The defense has got to get better, whether it's DJ's fault or not. 256 given up to Tyler Huff and Furman, and now you got Sam Hartman and Wake welcoming you to the house. 3 years ago, this is an off week for Clemson, right? 3 years ago, we're all taking a break. Get the guac ready because this one's a social event. This might be a football game, y'all. Sam Hartman, there was a part of me that went, all right, Sam Hartman's coming back from that blood clot. It's game number 1 back. He's going to take some time to get back up to speed. Clemson catches him in week 2 of his season. They're going to steamroll this guy. Maybe not, my guys. Are there any Clemson fans that are apprehensive about Saturday? That are a bit nervous about Saturday? Clemson at Wake. Hartman went 304 touches against Vandy. Now, granted, that's Vanderbilt, right? We ain't talking about Bama. We ain't talking about top term stuff here. We're talking about Vandy. But it was in their house. And Wake did not give up 62 like Hawaii did. This is not a for granted game. If Clemson's defense shows up the same way, Sam Hartman will put 3 on the board against you. And then it's up to your offense. Who scored 35 at home against Furman. Is Furman better than Wake Forest? No, with all due respect to the Dins. I'm a big Dins guy. We all are here on the Radio Ranch. But the Dins aren't better than Wake. The offense looked fine. Looked fine. 147 on the ground, 229 through the air. It looked fine. You should be able to get to 35 against Wake. The question's going to be, can you stop them from getting to 35? Can you stop them from getting to 27? Because that's about the number you're going to need them to stop at. Against the best quarterback that you have faced so far. Right? Jeff Sims is good for Georgia Tech. Don't get me wrong. Jeff Sims is good. But Sam Hartman is going to get drafted. All right? Sam Hartman's going to get drafted. So I don't know. I think it would be fair to say that there's a little puckering going on around Clemson, or at least there should be. I was told this defense was going to be historic. Yeah, they held Furman to 12. But you gave up nearly 260 passing yards to Tyler Huff. You let him rush for $128 to your 147. I don't think it's fair to say that all of a sudden, this Clemson Wake game on Saturday, there might be some nerves about it, man. Might be some nerves about it. All right, let me get Wes in here before we take a break. Wes, welcome in, big fella. Good to have you back, buddy.
Hey, you know I'm a big Clemson fan.
Sure.
But I'm just going to tell you one thing. Clemson looks horrible this year. I'm just glad we don't have App State on our schedule, because App State would just absolutely wear the Clemson defense out. The running backs for App State are some of the best I've seen so far.
I'm going to tell you right now, the Clemson defense, we were just talking about it, Wes, 256 through the air, given up to Furman. And I like this Furman team. Team plays hard, man. This team fights. But there was no business giving up threatening 300 yards to Furman. Forget App State. Like I said, Wes, 3 years ago, Wake Forest was a gimme game for Clemson. This weekend, I'm circling that game in red. Don't miss it, because Sam Hartman's an NFL caliber quarterback. They got to be better defensively. Offensively, they looked fine. Need to get better, but looked fine. Defensively, they better step up this weekend.
But did you even see, did you notice how on that one drive in the first half, that little running back for Furman just ran circles around their defense?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking about Wake Forest and Sam Hartman. I don't know that Wake has, even a top 6 rushing game in the ACC. I don't know that we've seen it develop enough yet. But you're right. Ryan Miller for Furman had 95 yards through the air. You had a couple of, you had 4 different running backs for Furman that went up over 25 yards rushing. I mean, if Furman can gash you for 128 at home, there's going to be some teams that run the ball well later in the schedule that you got to go see, and I'm a little nervous for you. That's a fact.
Yeah, and I think Sam Hartman will pick our secondary apart.
He absolutely could, Wes. I mean, based on what we've seen out of him so far, based on the talent level that he has, and based on the fact that, again, I'm saying this with a raised fist to Tyler Huff, 256 in Clemson's house. It's a great showing for Furman, and they deserve a hell of a lot of credit for what they did. Sam Hartman is better than that, and it's at Wake.
Yes.
This game is not a give me game. We were circling before Clemson season where we thought the dubs and L's were coming from, and there's a few of them that I circled as like apprehensive games. At Florida State, I'm apprehensive about. I was at Notre Dame. I think that one looks a little better now. And certainly back home against Miami. Now all of a sudden Wake Forest has been circled for that exact reason.
Right. And one quick thing, Rob. I will give South Carolina their kudos. They played a whole lot better than I thought they would against Arkansas.
Oh, for sure.
There's no reason why they couldn't have won that game. It's just they need to get their receivers to catch the ball.
They got to block. They were getting killed. Wes, I appreciate the phone call, buddy. Good to have you on. Look, they deserve credit, Lonzo, because they fought late in that game when they could have rolled over and they kept pushing. But it really does, once again, just come back down to if you cannot block, you're going to get killed. The reason that they couldn't have won that game, though, is because Arkansas is just a better football team. But finishing with 40 yards rushing against anybody. You finish 40 yards against Georgia or Bama, I'm still saying that's not enough.
There's still a lot of people surprised that South Carolina was able to put up as many points as they did.
Yeah, 30 points is not a terrible showing. 14 late when you had to make a push. I mean, again, it's not the worst showing. But if you can't block, you can't play. In fairness, though, and I'm curious as to how much of this you're willing to give credit to. If you take away the 23 negative yards that you had with sacks against Spencer Rattler, If you take away the 23 negative yards of rushing attributed to Spencer Rattler sacks, you're looking at more in the neighborhood of 63 yards rushing. You know what I got to say about 63 yards rushing? It's still not good enough.
63 yards rushing is okay if you have like 450 through the air.
Except. And 376 through the air is damn fine against anybody, right? You put up 376 against Furman, and I'm going, that's a great day.
Yeah, most teams, though, if you get behind, you got to throw the ball to catch up. So, I mean, and that's what they had to do.
I will tell you another thing that I'm very concerned about. The ball got on the ground 5 times. Now, South Carolina recovered 3 of them, right? Turned it over twice. That's too many times. You cannot put the ball on the turf 5 times. You've got to have ball security. It really is the same thing this week as it was last week. You didn't block. You could not rush because of it. And you put the ball on the turf. That's got to get fixed. South Carolina's a 24.5-point dog to Georgia. You're going to lose by 30. All right? You just are. Question is, do you let it demoralize you? Or do you accept it and come out firing against Charlotte on September 24th and beat them by 40? And then beat SC State by 40? And get yourself in the positive in the win category before you go play at Kentucky. At Kentucky, a top 10 team, that is a winnable football game. Improbable, but possible. But you know what that is? That's an identity-making win, if you can get it. And if you're coming off back-to-back wins against Charlotte and SC State, going out there to Kentucky and beating the Wildcats after they beat Florida to get inside the top 10 for the first time in ever, that's an identity-confirming win. Texter says on the Preferred Home Services text line, it's 71307. Let's see, where'd that text go? Clemson did not look very good on defense, but I'm not willing to throw the towel in. Our beat-up defense destroyed Wake last year. I think you're going to get the same results this year. Maybe. But I don't know that I'm exceptionally sure. By the way, Clemson has La Tech this weekend. Wake's the week after that. So you got one more tune-up game. Texter says, y'all are doing a lot of wishful thinking. Clemson got out schemed with screenplays by being too aggressive. Good learning experience for Wes Goodwin. Previous caller, not a Clemson fan. 35-12, great win. Go Tigers.
Wishful thinking. So that's implying that you want Clemson to lose. I mean, I do.
No,
I want Clemson to lose.
I think he's saying wishful think. Yeah. Oh, you're saying he's implying that we want Clemson.
Yeah, that's what he's implying. That we want, or she, or whoever.
They?
Think that we want Clemson to lose. I want Clemson to lose, but I'm realistic to know that it's probably not going to happen for a while. But Wake is definitely a test.
Hell yeah, it's a test. Do I want Clemson to lose? No. I have told you guys time and time again, I want Clemson to go undefeated. I want South Carolina to go undefeated. Do you know what the dream is for Rob Brown? The dream is it's Thanksgiving Saturday, and Rob's doing 9 remotes because the Gamecocks are undefeated and the Tigers are undefeated, and they're playing each other with a playoff spot on the line.
Which can't happen this year. So, I mean, there's that.
Right. I'm saying the dream. The wishful dream, because it turns out the better those teams are, the more money I make. Same with the Panthers. The better they are, the more money I make. I want them to be great. It is not wishful thinking that Wake beats Clemson. I want Clemson to win every damn game because I'll make money on them. That's good for me.
Again, I want Wake to beat Clemson, but they're not going to.
No, they're not.
I mean, I could change my mind by the time we get to that game, but they're not going to. There's a reason why even I pick Clemson to win almost every single week because they're that good.
Let's see. Texas said no one better sleep on those Sun Belt teams. La Tech is on. Louisiana Tech, baby. The Bulldogs. Let's see, where the Bulldogs sitting at 1-1, and their only loss is at Mizzou. They got SF Austin last week.
A whole lot of looking around going, why not us? App just did it. Why not us?
Yeah, if App State can go into A&M and get a dub, why can't we? You're exactly right. I wouldn't sleep on that game either. I mean, though, Clemson will win that game by 25.
Maybe K to come in and go 1 for 4 again or something
For
like
negative
that.
2 yards?
Yeah.
No, Lonzo was not enjoying that. Why do you ask?
You don't speak for me.
That's true.
Absolutely am enjoying that.
That's true. That's true. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. One more look around the NFL in week 1. You guys got any more thoughts regarding college football? We'll get into that. Whatever you want, we're talking about it, baby. Rob Lonzo and you, the Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate.
QC.
All right, stream. Be right back. How much time we have left?
2 minutes.
You think when he held up those four, he was thinking, "Hi, Tyreek"?
Yes, I absolutely do.
All right, here we go. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is the Fan Upstate. Rob and Lonzo and you. Scott Frost. Oh, man. What a failure. You know, for the record, it does make me sad that Nebraska is where Nebraska is. College football is better when we have a lot of good teams. And there's very little reason for the Cornhuskers to be bad, except for they just keep screwing the pooch over and over. Over and over and over and over and over. I hate it for them. But even hating it, am I a bad person for kind of enjoying it a little bit, Zoe? Like, I hate it for them, but I'm also getting some entertainment out of it. Because Nebraska fans are apoplectic right now. And if you know me, you know I don't use big words a lot, Lonzo. I'm not a big word guy. But Nebraska fan, I went to their Reddit stream yesterday. And it's like, can Herb come? Can we get Herb? Can we get Urban in here?
That's been all over Twitter this morning.
Of course it is. Every college football opening, Herb's the first name that drops. Every time. I'll tell you one name that I did see. There's a couple that have popped up. And there's a few I like, a few I don't. I have seen Jamie Chadwell's name connected to this gig over at Coastal Carolina. I have seen Matt Rule's name connected to Nebraska. Now, Matt's not going to leave Carolina. To the chagrin of about 80% of Panthers fans, Matt Rule is not leaving Carolina for Nebraska until Carolina fires him. That's not to say he won't be there next year, because we'll see how this year goes. I'm not knee-jerk freaking out about the loss to Cleveland. But he's a name. I've seen Bill O'Brien mentioned, the offense coordinator at Alabama. One name I'm really keeping an eye on that I find interesting, and I don't know if he would go or not. His fans will have you believe that he's locked in long term. But how about Mark Stoops from Kentucky? Right? Because there is a belief amongst a lot of college football fans that Kentucky kind of has a ceiling, right? That's why the "we're a basketball school" comments from John Calipari, I think, got so far up under the skin of Mark Stoops. Because he's going, I'm trying to raise this program to the next level, and you are continuing to build a ceiling above me. If you have Kentucky fans convinced that we're a basketball school, you are effectively telling them we can't be good at football. And if you're telling them we can't be good at football, then truth, that becomes reality, becomes the truth. Would Mark Stoops want to get out of there? I don't know, man. I'm interested. But the Kentucky Reddit right now is just melting apart. And it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny to me. Any other takeaways from the weekend you wanted to fit in, Lonzo? Any other NFL takes you wanted to fit in? Besides the Falcons choking again?
I know I mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to mention it as many times as I can. Tom Brady got sacked multiple times.
How many times did he go down in that game? Let's go find that.
At least twice.
Brady got sacked. Let's see here. Dallas. Where's the Dallas defensive stats? I know it was multiple times. I'll find it.
And he got up angry, which made me happy.
Brady did go 18 of 27, 212, one touch, one pick. It was a pretty pedestrian game. Dak was 14 of 29, 134, one pick before he got banged up. Zeke went 10 carries, 52 yards. I don't mean to alarm the Cowboys fans, but Dallas ain't back. Still not back.
You know who is back?
Song and dance every year.
You know who is back and never left? That would be the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, they look good.
And all of you people, Tyreek's gone. Are the Panthers are the Chiefs in trouble? Are the Chiefs in trouble? Are they? Are they? No, they're not. They're not. You know why? Because the guys that Patrick Mahomes threw the ball to, they actually caught the ball.
They really did. Let's see. Patty Ice, 30 of 39, 360, 5 touchdowns, and a QBR of 144.
Travis Kelce was also killing it yesterday.
Travis Kelce, 8 catches, $121, and a touchdown. Ladies and gentlemen, you may not know this, but Travis Kelce is a tight end.
And he still plays for Kansas City.
Yes, he does. No one else plays there. 6 catches for 79 from Juju, former Steeler.
Wait, who's that? He's not Tyreek Hill.
A member of the Dash Gang there in Kansas City, because Valdez-Scantling had 4 for 44 and Edwards-Helaire had 3 for 32. Not a bad showing overall.
I thought Arizona was supposed to be pretty good this year. Maybe they are.
Maybe they are. Bills-Chiefs looking more and more likely. Don't have an issue with that either, for the record. I think that game will be fun again. You guys got a regular season matchup this year.
Wow. I will turn the sound down.
You don't want to hear Josh Brady, Tom Allen.
Have you seen the Josh Allen commercial?
Yeah, it's pretty funny, actually.
Where he's it just makes
It's pretty funny.
It makes perfect sense.
Whether like he's trending for the next phase of his career.
Yes.
Already.
Yes.
Baker, 16 of 27, 235, a touch and a pick, QBR of 84. Jacoby Brissett, 18 of 34, 147 and a touch. Can we be real? With the exception of Nick Chubb, it wasn't like the Browns' offense was dominant, right? It just was that Carolina's wasn't either. McCaffrey, 10 carries, 33 and a touch. Remember, one of those was, in fact, his long, which was 33 yards, was a picked up fumble, was not even a run. Robbie had 5 snags for $102 and a touch. Robbie's got to be involved more, dude. What do you have? 6 targets, 5 of them caught.
Shi Smith was out there once, as far as I know.
One catch, 12 yards.
Yes. I don't even know if he's on the
3
field.
targets.
I don't even know if he's on the field any other time, but I know he's on there once.
Shi Smith had the same number of targets as Ann Thomas. Again, Shi is the 3, maybe 4 wide receiver. I'll tell you whose name is not out there. Terrence Marshall Jr. did not get a target in this game. Tommy Tremble did.
Trimble is not really a tight end.
No, and Thomas is, though.
Yeah, he is.
2 snags, 53, and a beautiful seam route. Beautiful seam route for 50 yards from Bake.
You know, I don't know if the Panthers actually have any passes for, quick passes over the middle or any screens. I don't know if they actually have those in the playbook. Maybe someone needs to give them that playbook for dummies book so they can look at it and go, okay, here's how we stop this defense that keeps coming in really fast on us. Maybe if we just dump it off really quick over the middle, or try to run the ball.
Maybe run all the inside slants until they stop doing that. And by the way, I'm not going to bag Icky for getting run by Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett was the 4th most successful pass rush winning defensive end in the NFL this weekend, won on like 35% of pass rushes. So 1 out of every 3 pass rushes, he was able to get into the backfield and disrupt Baker. I told you there were going to be growing pains for Icky. Unfortunately for Icky, growing pains started in week 1. In week 1, he was up against the NFL's, 3rd best defensive end, 4th best defensive end?
All right.
That's just bad timing.
James says Baker had a lot of passes knocked down. That was concerning. It was, except for it was Clowney, people forget about Clowney, and it's a defense that played against Baker in practice all the time, so they know his tendencies. They know when he's going to throw the ball, and he just timed it perfectly. And it was only, if I recall, only Clowney knocking the ball down. It might have been somebody else, but I know Clowney had multiples.
Yeah, he had a couple of overthrows too.
And they got that fixed in the second half, by the way.
I agree. It got better in the second half. There's no arguing.
You're right. It's not like he's Kyler Murray. My wife laughs every time. She's like, how tall is he? Because she's short and she wants him to be the same height as her. And in NFL terms, he is.
Yes, I am Googling it. They got him listed as 5'10".
He is not 5'10".
I'd give him 5'10".
He's got that extended helmet that adds like 3 inches to the top of your head.
Kyler, you have to take the helmet off before we measure you. No, coach. All right. We will be recording the reaction episode of Views from Mint Street coming up after the show. That episode will drop, this afternoon? That episode will drop this afternoon. So make sure you like and subscribe to the Views from Mint Street podcast, available where major podcasts are found. And if you did not do it yet, go to the Fan Upstate and get week 2's Pro Pigskin picks in right now. We've got that contest up. Week 1 is in the books. And I think I was right at 500 in week 1.
Yeah, I don't want to look at mine. I'll look at it later.
I need you all to know our Boo Box Bets picks are official, but we're not having a great start to the week, so I was just going to hold them till tomorrow. So you'll find out who lost and what the punishment is on tomorrow's show. We got too much to focus on to put another punishment into the head of the loser right now. You'll find out who that was on tomorrow's show. Let's take a break. What the heck? Let's run to the final segment of the show. When we come back, final thoughts from week 2 of college, 1 of the NFL, and Twitter trending topics to wrap it all up. Derek Carr, 22 of 37, 295, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, 5 sacks. Justin Herbert, 26 of 34, 279, and 3 touches. I told y'all that guy's good, too. I tried to tell you. Rob Lonzo, the Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. All right, I have to put these away or else I gotta put these away.
Those is eat it later. Sure, Trey. You can continue to send them in. throughout the entire season. A fuller box means less chance of picking something that's as bad as last Friday was.
Yes, we're still taking them, but the rules still apply, Trey. No permanent alterations to appearance. Nothing that will cost us the integrity of our job. Not our integrity. That's way up for grabs, but the integrity of our jobs. What was in one other? I think there was one other rule. Either way. But yeah, we're still taking submissions. I told Courtney about Mad World being in mine, and she was like, I hope you lose every week. I told her that I was pretty sure the entire Fan Upstate audience would be accompanying me to Mad World if I lost.
Someone just tweeted, Aaron Rodgers loses Devontae Adams, struggles. Derek Carr gets Devontae Adams, struggles. Patrick Mahomes loses Tyreek Hill, throws 5 touchdowns. Not to mention the kicker was hurt. And the safety had to come in and kick.
I was going to say, didn't they have a DB kicking?
He got one, and then he shanked the next one really bad. And then Butker went in and got taped up and come out there, could barely walk, and was still kicking extra points. He couldn't do kickoffs, so the safety continued to do kickoffs. Touchbacks almost every time, too. Okay, I didn't see SmackDown Friday, but Adam Schur, you may or may not know who that is.
I do know who that is.
Just posted him power bombing Otis. I will send it to you.
He controlled Otis's narrative.
No, I will send it to you now. I've just sent it to you. I mean, perfect form by Otis, but still. And it also lets you realize how wide Otis really is.
He's a big boy. Otis looked like he was dead afterwards.
He sold it well, though.
Really did.
Someone that size getting power bombed, it has to hurt worse than, like Rey Mysterio or something getting power bombed.
Madre's coming up to go to the Saints at Carolina game. You want to go?
I would say yes, but I don't know for sure. Depends on what week it is.
Okay. It's the 25th. We'll probably drive up Sunday and come back right after. All right, putting a bow on this bad boy. The Rob Brown Show coming up on the end of our Monday edition with week 1 of the National Football League in the books. It is a great week of week 1 for the NFL. The Saints find a way to finish it off again. The Saints had no business winning that game. In fact, at the end of the half, when Jameis had -2 passing yards, I was like, well, the era of Saints relevancy is over. We have been shipped off of the island of relevancy. And then they figured out how to gut it out. Browns 26, Panthers 24. You know, the frustrating thing about that game, Zoe, is that I think without those two busted calls at the end, Panthers won that game. They should be 1-0.
Yeah, when that field goal happened, it was like, okay, that's it. We're good.
Should be 1-0. 100% should be 1-0. Bears 19, Niners 10. Trey Lance was not better than Jimmy Garoppolo. 13 of 28, 164, a pick and a QBR of 50. Steelers 23-20 winners over the Bengals. Joe Burrow had the weirdest scoreline, man. 4 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, but he went 33 of 53 for 338. And 2 of those INTs were NHFs. Should not have been on him. Either way, is the Super Bowl hangover real? By the way, for a team that put as much money in the offensive line as Cincinnati did, they were atrocious. Joe Burrow will not survive till week 5 behind that OL. Eagles 38 winners, 38-35 winners over the Lions. Jalen Hurts 18 of 32, 243. Dolphins 20-7 over the Patriots. Tua 23 of 33, 270, most accurate quarterback in the NFL. Alonzo,
How many touchdowns did he throw?
1.
Wasn't 5, was it?
Wasn't 5. Ravens 24-9 winners over the Jets. And, of course, we all know it was Joe Flacco that had over 300 yards passing. Lamar 17 of 30, 213, 3 TDs, 1 pick. Not awful. Not awful. It didn't jump out as a guy who wants or who's going to get Deshaun guarantee money. Trevor had an okay day. That pick at the end was brutal. 24-42, 275, a touch, 1 pick. About a halfway decent day for TL. Colts and Texans play to a 20-20 draw. Giants 1-point winners, 21-20 over the Titans. What the hell was that, Tennessee? You're supposed to be better than that. How did the Vikings drum the Packers besides the Packers dropped every touchdown pass? Ugh. Chiefs 44-21 on the back of 5 Patty Mahomes touchdowns. Chargers 24-19 winners over the Raiders. And last night, the Bucks put away the boys 19-3. They're not back. Broncos Seahawks tonight.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topics.
All right, time for Twitter Trending Topics, where I tell Rob what is trending, and he will tell us why. The first thing that is trending is Tony Romo.
But the Cowboys want him back.
That's why he's trending.
Yeah.
At least the fans have made him trending.
Dak is out 6 to 8 with a broken hand. We don't know the exact details other than the timeline, but out 6 to 8. And the fans want Romo back because why the hell wouldn't they?
Do people forget that Romo was not that? I mean, he was consistent, but I mean, he wasn't great.
I feel like Romo would have been really successful on a lot of other teams. I just don't get how Cowboys fans don't see that Jerry Jones is the problem. Jerry Jones is in Al Davis territory. You won't be good until Jerry Jones dies. Sorry to be morbid. Sorry to be macabre. But I said that about the Raiders. And then Jerry Jones died, and now the Raiders are okay. Scratch that. Al Davis died. Now the Raiders are okay. You won't be good again, Dallas, until JJ is not in charge of this team because he ain't retiring. The fans bring back Romo. It doesn't matter, dude.
Yeah, they're trying to find all kinds of people to come in there, including Jimmy Garoppolo. But San Francisco not going to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo because they can see what's in front of them, and it's not what they thought.
It doesn't matter.
All right, the next thing that's trending is X-Men.
I got nothing.
All right, X-Men is trending because it came out that they're not going to have an X-Men movie for a really, really long time, and fans are really upset about it.
I get it because you made such a run, and like the last round of X-Men movies started out pretty strong. I think you had a really good Cap with Logan, but like some of them, like Days of Future Past was so convoluted. It was okay, but it was just convoluted. Dark Phoenix had so much potential, and then it just like it completely got away from the point of the story that was told originally. I would love another good X-Men movie, but They're going to blame it on, fans aren't receptive. No, we're just not receptive to bad movies.
No, they're just bringing it along really slowly, just like Fantastic Four. All right, the next thing and probably the last thing we have time for is Appalachian State. For some reason, I don't know why, they're trending big time.
Hi, Jimbo. Hi, Aggies. Jimbo's getting paid a lot of money to lose at home to Appalachian State. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you strongly to listen to every episode of the DA Show, every episode of the Rob Brown Show, every episode of the Jim Rome Show. But I will never tell you more than I'm going to tell you today. Make sure you are by a radio at 3 p.m. or on the Odyssey app or streaming at thefanupstate.com, no matter where you are or what you're doing. Be by a speaker at 3 p.m. for Offsides with Diesel, and Mark might be there.
You know why? Because you're going to hear 3 hours of Clemson.
Diesel is never the dude that takes over programming, except today.
He does have the power. He
Oh,
absolutely does. He can control the board. He can control someone's mic. Oops, the Comrex cut out.
How about that?
Wow, I got something I could talk about.
The start of the show. What's good, everybody? It's Mark Rated.
And suddenly.
All right, guys. Appy State. 3 hours of Mountaineers talk. Let's get it. Can't wait. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Jim Rome does have you next. Then it is Offsides with Mark Ryan and probably a lot of Diesel today. We'll see y'all back here tomorrow to do it all over again on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. All right, stream. You guys are